Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Carrie Bracken. I'm from Delaware. I am 27 years old, and I am a revert to Islam, and I converted on January 16th, 2013. I was raised in a Christian family, raised by Methodist parents. So we literally lived right next door to a Methodist church. So we would walk every day to a church. My childhood was outdoors every day, so I love outdoors. My childhood was good. It was a good memory of a childhood. It was strong, it was fun. You always did something. Go down to the creek during the summer and swim in the creek, yeah, it was a good childhood. The Methodist religion was very strong in my household. We would pray before any meal, pray before we go to bed. Even during the holidays, it was a huge thing. We would drive or go walk down to the church during certain holidays, or just on any Sunday we would go. I was always in the Sunday school or the children's choir, and I would sing. But yeah, we would go to church almost every single Sunday. I mean, if we did miss a Sunday, it was because we were sick. I did have one Muslim friend, but I knew her in like the 5th or 6th grade. I knew her. And I didn't really knew she was Muslim. I mean, like, I knew she dressed differently than everyone else, but I never really put two to two together. I never really thought of it. But as I got older, like at my age now, I was 25. No, I'm sorry, I was 26, 25 when I converted to Islam. I had more Muslim friends before I converted, and I realized, Islam is a very strong faith, and I was really lost in my own faith, being a Christian, and I just wanted more answers for that. Muslims and Islam, before I converted to Islam, I had a lot of hate, and I had family members or friends who I used to hang out with who, were very, country boy girls and country girls, country boys. I always hung out with those people, always going out drinking, partying, having a grand old time. And we would make fun of those people dressed differently than us. But as I left that friendship with those people, I realized that's not who I am. And I feel like I made myself stronger and learned to realize that that wasn't who I was. And Islam really made me stronger than who I am now. I was in the 8th grade when 9/11 happened. And I feel like 9/11 was a huge hit on Muslims. And when I was in the 5th or 6th grade, it didn't really put, I just thought Muslims are Muslims. I didn't really think anything of it. But when September 11th happened, a lot of hate came somewhat out of me, but so many others too in this country. So I have had some friends of mine who are Muslim, and I've asked certain questions like, well, I've heard this on the news that it's wrong towards women, or it's this towards women, or it's towards that towards women. I really thought Islam was really against women. They really hated their wives or hated their daughters or anything. But I've learned more because I've asked questions, and I feel like as I got older, I learned to ask questions and learn to study and learn to, instead of judging people, you should learn it before you judge someone. And I did that. I Googled or YouTube channels or things like that, and I've learned the religion a little bit more. To me, it was a very triumphant moment in my life where I felt weak, but honestly, I was very strong. I almost killed myself before I converted to Islam. I had a gun to my head, and I said, if there's any God of any faith, please give me a sign. And at that moment, I had my phone beside me, and it would not stop ringing. It wouldn't stop vibrating. It just kept going and going and going. It just kept making these noises that you've never seen or heard. It literally felt like something took over my phone and just went off. Something like a lightning bolt or something hit it or something. But once I picked up the phone, I saw this message. And in this message, I don't know what it said, but I knew it was Arabic because I've seen Arabic before, reading it from like my friends or hearing about it or whatever, just seeing it. I looked at it and I was like, this is a sign from God. And I literally jumped up, put the gun on the ground, and said, I'm going to convert to Islam. And that was the day that I say, God really changed my life. Alhamdulillah, he changed my life. Mm-hmm. Islam to me was the truth because I felt like God spoke to me that day. Allah spoke to me. And he spoke to me with love. And it was the moment that I have never felt. I'm sorry. Okay. I gotta stop. So I took my Shahada that night that I almost killed myself, almost committed suicide. I called my friend, and his name was Muhammad, and he was a Muslim also. And I called him up, and I knew he was like the only person that could possibly, he knew a mosque in the state of Delaware. We went, and he took me on the sister's side, and there was 2 sisters, and I remember one of the sisters, she just welcomed me with open arms, and I never felt so much love because of that one sister. And I told her everything that happened and why I was here and that I wanted to convert to Islam. And when she opened up the Quran and started giving me my Shahada and everything, you could just feel just goodness in the room. Like, you could just feel love and just, it's very weird to describe, but you felt a lot of greatness in the room. You felt like Allah was there that day. You could tell he was there. The energy and every word that I said from the Shahada, it literally felt like a huge weight was just slowly coming off my back. And I felt like 80 pounds lighter after I gave the Shahada. Like a very great Islamic diet. It felt literally the weight that I've held on for so long was finally coming off. My first day, I actually told my best friend Alicia, who I've known since 3rd grade, I called her up and told her that I am now a Muslim. She didn't even hesitate. She's like, oh my gosh, really? Congratulations. And I'm like, okay, that was not what I was expecting. But, she didn't care. She didn't judge. She just said, oh, I love you. You're my best friend. I'm here for you. So it was good to know that my best friend was there for me by my side and protecting me and, just being there. And, like the first day being a Muslim, it was strange because then I woke up every morning seeing my parents. And that was the moment that I knew I would have to one day tell them, your little girl is a Muslim. But it was good, I went through hardships in my life. I conquered them. And I conquered them with Allah. She knew I was, going to different churches and seeing what different churches they might have had. Or like, I would, step into like a Protestant church or a Catholic church or a Baptist church or something, and I would even think about atheism too. But I just like, no, there's a God. I know there's a God. Because how else would God make this beautiful earth with, so many crazy people on it? But yeah, I mean, she knew I was, going around and searching for some sort of faith in my life. It's changed my daily life by waking up every morning and saying, like, Bismillah, like, thank you, Allah, or Alhamdulillah, like, thank you, Allah. Just, like, little things. Like, when you wake up in the morning, you're just saying these little phrases, and it just makes you appreciate your daily life. It's like, oh, another day that I'm alive to experience maybe a good day or a bad day, or a half equal day. Maybe, half of a good day and then half of a bad day. It was just good to know that I was awake to witness those days. And I'm still grateful to witness those days. So my daily life has been extraordinary. It's really opened up my eyes more. I should be grateful for the little things or grateful for the big things. telling my parents was a very huge obstacle course for me. I actually told my parents separately, not together. I think it was more hard on my father than on my own mother. I actually told my mom that, hey, I'm going to go for a walk when I talk to you about something. And I remember because we were walking down to the park in my neighborhood, and she said to me, she goes, "You're not pregnant, are you?" And I was like, "No, I'm not pregnant." I told her, I was like, I am Muslim, that I converted to Islam, a few months ago. And she said to me, oh, they don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe, this and that. They believe in killing. I was like, that's not it at all. And I told her these things that, we do believe in Jesus. We don't believe in killing. We don't believe in war. We don't believe, what you see in the media. We don't believe that. So I had to settle her down and explain to her what Islam was really about. We probably didn't talk for a good few weeks, a few days to maybe a week or two. And then I told my dad. I couldn't tell my dad face to face. I actually wrote him a note and he read it. I think it was a 3-page letter of explaining everything, why I, converted to Islam and why I did what I did and why I didn't come for him for guidance or anything. It just basically explained to him, I'm not a little girl. I'm growing up and I can make my own decisions. And telling my friends, it wasn't as hard. Some did drop me from the face of the earth, but it didn't stop me because when those old friends left, new friends came in. And so they filled the void for me. So it was very, heartwarming that I had people like that who would help me.
And your parents' reaction?
Not happy. They were not very supporting. They're not very supportive now, nor do I think they ever will be very supportive. They felt like I stabbed them in the back or stabbed them in the heart because of what I did. Is what they told me. My relationship with them now, it's rocky. It's very rocky. We have our good days, we have our bad days. But we're learning to work with each other and, be there for each other. I still help them celebrate, the Christmas holiday or the Easter holiday. I'm there. I don't celebrate it fully with them like I used to when I was younger or before I converted to Islam. I have some good Muslim friends who are there for me. And even my friends who aren't even Muslim, they still support me and still cheer for me every single day. And it's good to have friends like that who cheer for you. I've witnessed a few weeks before I converted to Islam, I actually stopped at a coffee shop. I'm not going to say which coffee shop, but I stopped at a coffee shop. And there was a Muslim girl in front of me. I'm sorry, there was a woman, an older lady, and there was a Muslim woman in front of that woman. And I remember hearing this older lady say, oh, you Muslims always get what you want, or I honestly forget what she said, but she said something I guess something against her religion and how women are treated and things like that. And it tore me up that no one was saying anything, and this woman is being teared down just because she's wearing, a head covering, a hijab. And I was tired. I was like, I'm going to say something. And I said something. I said, there's no right for you to say anything. She's just standing in line, getting a cup of coffee, just like the rest of us. We're all human. We're born together, we're buried together, but we can't live together. It made me mad, but not fully mad, because I felt sorry for this woman. And I also felt sorry for Muslim sister. I felt sorry for her. So I bought her the cup of coffee. I said, I'm going to buy you your cup of coffee. Because what that person did, even in the Christian Bible, it says, love each other and love thy enemy and love thy neighbor. And, what she did was not Christian-like. And it just, that's one of the things that kind of changed my ways, not to judge others and not to do crazy things. I laugh at the critics because it's you don't know, They could be going through something harsh too, or, they're probably being harsh because they don't know what to think. So I just, I don't turn a blind cheek. I just be like, Love you too. Another Muslim came up to me and said, what can I do to make myself stronger in Islam? I would just say, turn to Allah. Make prayer. You may say, oh, I don't have time. But yet you may have time to go to the gym, but you can't make time to make a prayer. I have struggles too. It's hard to make the prayers, but it's a learning. You're learning. This is your life to learn. And you need to cherish that life. You need to make yourself stronger in those prayers and for Allah. I would honestly have to tell them, just be true to yourself and make time. If you can make time to sit down and have a cup of coffee, or make time to go to the gym or go see a friend, then you can make time to make prayer. You can make time to go to a small Islamic class at the local mosque, or you can sit down and before you're going to bed, watch a YouTube video of Islam and make yourself stronger. Just the little things can do so much to make yourself good.